got Bleacher Report up. We got Facebook up. We got Instagram up. We got Twitter up. Friday night Knicks, dude, just to get there. All right, I think we ready, man. Let's go from the top. Here we go. All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Friday evening. Another edition of KFTV Live, CP the Franchise in the building on the Solo Dolo Bleacher Report simulcast. On tonight's show, hey, this is the Knicks versus Timberwolves pregame show, and we're going to get into a lot of the storylines on this one, including the status of Karl-Anthony Towns. We'll talk a little bit of Julius Randle's legacy as it relates to the New York Knicks, plus KG and Paul Pierce rip Tom Thibodeau and cause a stir amongst his fan base. So we're going to get into all of it, man. Quick rapid fire show. Do me a quick favor, man. Like, share, and subscribe. Wherever you guys are watching, share this video in your group chat. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Wherever you are, let a Knicks fan know that the number one show for the fans by the fans is live right now. All right? Salute to everybody in the chat, man, wherever you guys are watching from. Salute to the replay gang if you guys are watching this on the replay. Salute to everybody on the drive home, on the grind home, on the Iron Horse. If you guys are on the train, salute to you guys as well, man. Little evening edition of the show. I like these 5 o'clock shows, for sure. Definitely like tapping in with the fans. And, hey, Friday night Knicks, man. Knicks taking on the Timberwolves at home. 27-15 on the campaign. And hey, if you guys are in the tri-state area, in the New York City area, whether you're on the way to the game or you want to come through and watch the game, especially you guys with Optimum that have no Knicks on your Optimum, no MSG, come to Clinton Hall 36, man, 16 West 36th Street. That is where the watch party is going to be. That is where I will be after this. Free to get in, and it's going to be a great time, man. We do play the game audio on the loudspeaker, and then during the commercials, our guy, our DJ Eric L. Beats, will be spinning on the ones and twos. Great food, great drinks, great time, and giveaways after every quarter. So meet me there after tonight's show, Clinton Hall 36. I want to definitely salute my franchise channel members on the YouTube side. Absolutely. Salute to you guys. So anyway, man, you know, I was when I every day, like when I wake up and I'm planning shows and things of that nature, obviously I'm tapping in with social media and seeing what the conversation is about as it relates to the team. And this morning, the conversation was about Julius Randle and his legacy with this team. Is he going to get cheered? Is he going to get booed when he returns to Madison Square Garden in just about 2 hours for tip-off? And I thought it was a little odd because, to me, there's only one reaction that I would have. Like, if I'm in the building, if I was going to the game tonight, you guys call me a Randle hater all the time. Over the last 4 years, you guys always dub me the Randle hater. I would have stood up and applauded him. I would have stood up and gave Julius a standing ovation. So I was a little bit curious as to why, it was even a question as to what the reaction was going to be for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo tonight, because this is not like the Isaiah Hartenstein situation where Hartenstein, yes, you could argue that he could have taken the money that the Knicks were offering him, the most that they could give him, and he chose to go to OKC. So there was a little bit of animosity among the fan base towards Hartenstein, some portion of the fan base, that he took the money and he left and all of that. So, like, you can argue cheering or booing for Hartenstein. I get that argument, even though I was on the cheer side. But for Julius, there's no question that you pay the man his respects. Like, there's no other option here. You know, when Julius came here in 2019, this team was in the garbage. This team was absolutely in the garbage. And he came here and grew into the basketball equivalency of a man. That's just point blank, period. Coming from the dubbed Julius Randle hater. You got to give credit where credit is due. Julius came here and through no other time in his career did he have to be the guy. He didn't have to do that with the Lakers. He didn't have to do that with the Pelicans. He came here and instantly donned the heaviest jersey in the league. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. And with that comes a tremendous amount of pressure. You know that. We putting pressure on these guys right now. They 27-15, 2 games behind Boston for second in the East, and we still finding ways to complain about this team. So Julius came here under an immense amount of pressure, and there were a lot of highs, there were a lot of lows. There were a lot of highs, there were a lot of lows. But professionally for him, 3-time All-Star, took this team to the playoffs 3 out of 4 years in the Tibbs era. 2-time All-NBA. So when you weigh those factors, I mean, there were way more highs for Julius here with the Knicks than there were lows. Yes, the low was the thumbs down situation and all that, but again, that was him trying to handle that pressure, trying to fight through the adversity that comes with donning a Knicks jersey. So even with that, in the grand scheme of things, when you pull the scope back and you analyze his legacy with this team, you got to give him a ton of credit. Because he handled it very well in the grand scheme of things. A lot of guys can't say that. 3-time All-Star with this team. Now, one thing I'll push back on is, the people that say, well, you came here when nobody else wanted to come here. That's not so true. Both sides were pretty desperate for each other. When the Knicks lost KD and Kyrie, they had to pay somebody. So they had to open up the bank and meet their salary floor. He was the next in line. He was plan B. Let's just keep it real. It wasn't he came here when nobody else wanted to come here. He came here because they were offering a lot of money. And I don't think a lot of teams were knocking on Julius's door. Remember, he left the Pelicans because the Pelicans were about to draft Zion, so they had no need for Julius. But nevertheless, there was success here. They made the playoffs for the first time in 8 years with Julius at the helm. They made it through 3 years. And yes, you can argue that there was unfinished business here because of the second playoff appearance. He was battling through the ankle injury. And then last year, he was gone for the entire playoffs with a shoulder injury. So I get that. And many fans will make that argument. So all in all, man, you tip your cap to him, you salute him, and you say, thank you for the memories. There's no other, thing here as it relates to Julius. So I'm waking up, reading all these things. I'm going to salute him. I'm going to cheer him. What else would you do? What else would you do here? So, shout out to Julius on a good Knick career. And he's going to get his ovation. He's going to get the tributes and all of that. And he should. I'm all for that. Definitely all for that as it relates to Julius Randle. Shout out to JD in the chat. He said the CP versus Kendra is also in the legacy conversation. He goes, CP looks to have forgiven the smoke. I never had smoke for him. I never had smoke for the lady. She had smoke for me. She was very angry at me. She thought KnicksFanTV was, the ringleader of toxic Knicks fans, which couldn't be further from the truth. We're just the conductors here, lady. That's what I explained. I went on and we did a recording. JD was there, and I explained my side of things. I was not rude. I did not have animosity. I just explained what KnicksFanTV was about. It was an educational session, and it was definitely a classic, a viral moment in KFTV history. Absolutely. No Randy Johnson in the chat. I am not blocked. I am not blocked. Despite what many may think, there are many in the Knicks community that is blocked by Julius Randle and his camp. CP the franchise and KnicksFanTV are not one of them. Alex is blocked. I don't know what Alex is. He hates Alex's guts. Macri's blocked. I was never blocked. So, maybe there was an understanding after I, made that video. Maybe there was a little bit of an understanding. Alan C, what's good? Nostalgic Nick, Daniel Bosa, Joe, my 2 cents, salute. How we feeling in the chat? Gamble, what's good? Yeah, so I'm not blocked, but it's all love as it relates to Julius. And then, the other thing I will say is where we are now and the issues that the fan base has with the coach, the bench issues, and fans can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Did we go too far with this build? Can Towns and these guys get it done? Tibbs is running these guys into the ground. So you have fans, some that have a little bit of buyer's remorse here with this trade. And it was interesting because we posted in the Knicks Fan TV community section on YouTube, and make sure you guys are checking that out because we post a lot of articles and posts there, news and stuff like that to keep engaging with the community. So we posted a newsletter entry from our guy, KFTV Omar, where he wrote more about the legacy of Julius Randle. Make sure you guys are checking that out on the Knicks Fan TV newsletter on KnicksFanTV.com. And he talked about, just in the preview, we had put, the Knicks opted to raise their ceiling in trading Randle. And you had some fans kind of clapping back at that, like, what ceiling? Look at where the team is now and this, that, and the third. And, a lot of fans are still holding on to that January of last year when they got OG and Julius and Jalen and everybody's cooking and the Knicks had that monster month. And my reply was that we got to let that go. January of last year in the regular season of an 82-game season, that's just a hot month. That doesn't mean that this team was just automatically going to build itself into a contender or play itself into contender because they were the hottest team in the league in January. That means nothing in the grand scheme of things. There's multiple phases of an NBA season. And just because you're hot in January doesn't mean that it's going to carry over into the playoffs. Especially if you're not healthy. And so the bottom line is, a lot of fans like to use me as a proxy for their disapproval of some of the decisions that Leon and these guys make. But the bottom line is, Leon spoke without speaking in terms of how they felt about Randle going forward. And the bottom line is, they did not believe in Julius to lead this team into the promised land. Because if they did, they would have gave him the money that he wanted and he would have still been here. Right or wrong? That's all I'm trying to say to the people. Because you got people still trying to debate like, oh man, how could you say, Randle, he was so good for us in January. Leon told you already. He told you straight, simple and plain, right? People always talk about Leon doesn't talk. Well, he spoke loud and clear a couple months ago. He sent him to Minnesota. And now as you're looking at it, he could be packing his bags again by next month. That's not a knock on him. That's just reality. You heard our guest yesterday on the Game of the Week preview. Watch that after this show. Spoke on it. He said, hey, Randle could be out of here. Doesn't look like Minnesota wants to commit to him contractually. Maybe it's at Detroit, maybe it's in Miami, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be, staying long in Minnesota. So hopefully you got an Airbnb or something. And now it seems that, he's not playing in clutch time. He's losing clutch time minutes in Minnesota. Last 10 games, he's averaging 17 points per game on 23% shooting from three. So his struggles are continuing there. And, hey, it doesn't really seem like he's going to be there for quite long. Here was Tom Haberstroh on our guy, friend of the program, Kevin O'Connor's show. Here he was dishing on Julius Randle and his struggles.
It's over. I think the Julius Randle era. I think it's over. I think the Julius Randle era in Minnesota is just about over. When you look at the last play of the game, they had to bring back the guys onto the floor because there was still a little bit time left. But who had already left by then? Julius Randle. And he was already out by the time the game had ended. He left before the play had stopped. So you look at this. Julius Randle has been on the bench for clutch time 2 out of the last 6 times they've had clutch games. He's played only 40% of the Minnesota Timberwolves clutch minutes since December 31st. I don't know how the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to last as a title contender with Julius Randle starting over Naz Reid. And it seems like Finchie is looking at this situation by playing Naz Reid the last 17 minutes of that game and saying, you know what, he might be our guy instead of Julius Randle.
So that's just, another opinion of a NBA content creator there, Tom Haberstroh. But, it just doesn't seem like Randle, in terms of the chemistry with Minnesota and the contract, might not end well in Minnesota. And so you can understand that, the frustration on his part. You can understand the frustration when the Knicks went into Minnesota and blew the doors off of him, that he didn't shake hands with the homies. He doesn't feel stable right now. His playing time is not stable. His contract is not stable. And maybe that's playing into his ineffectiveness for the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. Just maybe. You know, human nature plays a part in that. Dante admitted as much in terms of his early season struggles. I mean, imagine that. You're preparing mentally, physically for NBA training camp in New York, and then all of a sudden, Leon calls you or whoever calls you and say, hey, you're going to Minnesota. That throws you in a loop. Dante just had a kid. You know, all that factors into it. But now Dante started playing well. He gets moved into the starting lineup for Mike Conley. And now Dante gets hurt in last night's in the previous game, in their previous loss to the Golden State Warriors. So tonight's matchup at Madison Square Garden, Dante will be in street clothes, and Mike Conley will be entered back into the starting lineup. Will Karl Anthony Towns be in street clothes? That's not clear. I have not seen an injury report just yet. Spoke to my guy Ian Beckley on the phone today. He said he was going to let us know what the status was for Karl Anthony Towns with the sprained thumb, with the bone chip in his thumb. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. But closing on the Randle legacy stuff, this was a good one by Ian Begley, and I agree with it. He says, just my opinion, but any retrospective on Julius Randle's impact in New York should include his work with Earl Monroe and the New Renaissance Basketball School. Give Julius credit, man. He was here for the community. He was here for the kids. And you have to applaud players for doing that, for giving back to the community. So we'll end on that, and we'll appreciate him. We'll give him his flowers tonight, and we will thank Julius for his services. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP the franchise in the building. Bleacher Report simulcast. We are also live on the gram as well as Facebook, YouTube. You guys know the vibes. Once again, make sure you guys are tapping into the KFTV watch party, 16 West 36th Street in New York City. And if you guys are going to be at home, watch the play-by-play show hosted by our guy, CK2K, because it's always, always, always a vibe. So make sure that you guys are doing that. Okay, next order of business. Before I get to my keys to the game, as well as we're going to get to our underdog picks as well after this. KG and Paul Pierce had Knicks fans in an uproar in the last 18 hours. All I'm seeing is Knicks fans going to war with each other over Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Two Celtics, two enemies, if you will. But do they have a point? I'm going to play a little bit of this soundbite from the Big Ticket.
We have to halfway.
Be quiet, Paul Pierce. And Paul Pierce in terms of their critique of Tom Thibodeau. Let's hear about it right now. I'll play a little bit. It's a 4-minute clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let's talk about it after this. Here we go.
Mark, everybody that played almost about 40, 41 games. They getting tired. They getting tired, dog. And I said this. I said they good, and they going to probably win a playoff series. But if they got to play 40-something, they got to make a move, or they got to wait till the big fella, Thomas. Is that his name?
Robinson.
Robinson. He got to
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, they need some depth. They need some depth at the perimeter, actually.
Yeah.
Like, because they all got to play 40 minutes for them to win. And they all going to get their numbers. It's all going to look sweet, but they're going to get tired in that fourth quarter, and that's what I'm seeing, and that's what happened in the playoffs. Like, it just is what it is. They need to make a trade. You know what I'm saying? They need one more perimeter player, and I don't know who that is. But they need another perimeter player. If they think they're going to go deep in the playoffs like this, playing like this, they got another thing coming, because you can get through the first round, and then you can battle through the second round, but by the time they get to the conference finals, man, they ain't going to have no legs.
Who tells Tibbs that?
Nobody telling Tibbs that. You argue with Tibbs every day.
Fuck that.
Man, Tibbs used to be in shouting matches every day. Man, I'll never forget this conversation. Man, we going over a shoot around, and we doing something
hard.
and we going hard.
Hard.
He like, do it again, man.
No, he stopped. He was being an asshole about it.
Ticket was like, man, what the fuck? He was like doing it. He yelled at Ticket. Ticket was like, man,
how hard you want us to do this shit?
He yelled right back in.
Like, you want us to kill each other? Yeah, I want it, man. Like almost like.
Ticket told him. I'll never forget. He said, Ticket, he said, "This some bullshit. You'll never be a head coach in the league."
I shot that. I did.
I was like,
motherfucker. You.
All right, well, it's a family show over here, but not on KG Certified. So y'all can listen to the rest there, but you get the point. But the Minutes police took this and ran with it. Enemies be damned. The Minutes police said, you see, even Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett are talking about Tibbs. Now these guys are wisdom personified. So the Minutes police are taking this as their trophy, as a one-up today. They're taking this as a W today. What do you guys think in the chat? Rate that take in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. The Minutes police are celebrating this one tonight. I got JD DMing me. You see. Everybody's DMing me. They're at me. Are they correct? Yes. They are correct. I've never made the point that these guys aren't tired, that they're not logging major minutes. It's a fact that they're logging major minutes. It is an absolute fact. My point has always been, from the coach's perspective, we are in New York. We are the New York Knicks. You get judged by wins and losses on this team. And the bottom line is, this bench is just average to woeful at best. That's just what it is. And I get it. Tibbs in the past, does he use a bench? Does he not use a bench? If they had more reliable pieces on the bench, I think he would go to it. Paul Pierce is right. They need another guy. They need another wing off the bench, another reliable, defensive-oriented wing. They absolutely need that. They need Mitch back. No question about it. And maybe once he comes back, they can move the ball forward a little bit more. But trades have consequences. You're not just going to roll into the same team that you had when you made 2 blockbuster trades in the offseason. We are in the apron era of team building. Look at what the Suns are going through, the challenges that they're going through when they built their big three. Look at what Milwaukee is going through for their bench. You just saw Jalen Brunson. He was mopping the floor up with these guys, Jackson and Green, and these guys in the Milwaukee Bucks. Because they have no depth. That is a consequence when you're trying to build a championship contender, and it's not necessarily through the draft. It's not easy. So now the point is that I'm trying to make is, don't look at this team and especially the bench as the end of this Knicks project. It may take another free offseason cycle and maybe another before they get it right. Maybe they get another good vet with an exception. Maybe they get lucky and get a nice ready-to-play wing in the draft. Pacome Dadier was not their first option in the draft in their war room board. Pacome Dadier was a dollars and cents draft pick. Because they were trying to clear the decks to get Cat in here. So they need help. Like I remember the other night, somebody's asking me, why didn't Landry Shamet get any minutes? Because he's not good. You look at the Knicks depth chart against the NBA's depth chart. You're not looking at this Knicks bench like, oh man, they got Landry Shamet. Who the hell is saying that? So if you seeing that, what do you think the coach is seeing? Nevertheless, these guys do need help. They do need a breather. I'm not making that argument. Now, the good thing is, Deuce is back. He played well in Philadelphia. He played well in the first matchup against Minnesota. Let's see if he can do that again. Precious, your wing off the bench right now, played well against Philly. He said, hey, Precious said it himself on the record, I'm an elite defender. Show me again tonight when you go up against Naz Reid. Show me again tonight when you go up against Julius Randle. Precious playing well. He said he's an elite defender. Let's keep it going. Campaign, hey, you flip a coin every night and see where Campaign is at. I would love to see Kolek play some minutes. I would love to see it because I don't think Campaign is good enough as a playmaker, and he's too shot happy to run the second unit. So let's give Kolek a couple minutes. Now, opportunity cost. The flip side of Kolek, you put him out there, he's going to be a marked man defensively. The coach sees that. He knows that. Nevertheless, this is what we have. Let's see what these guys can do. So right now, you got Deuce, you got Precious, you get Mitch back by February, couple of weeks. That's 8 men right there. And give me one guy, Kolek, Payne, Shamet, who could give me a couple minutes. That's 9 men right there. That's 9 men right there. But that's what they're dealing with. They don't have much money to buy guys out. They don't have much assets to trade. It's thin. But again, in the offseason, salary cap goes up. You get some exceptions. You might get a better player than a Shamet type. And that's not a knock on Shamet, but like, come on, man. Like, let's be real. When you guys say let's develop a bench, like, yo, Payne and Shamet don't need development. They are who they are. And that's what we have. So we just got to be realistic about what we have. So that's that. Leave me some comments on that. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up on Free Boys. Dwayne Freddie Hubbard in the chat. I see you. The Knicks chick. Hello. How are you? Janelle Torre in the chat. Franchise channel member. It says Burks can stay in Miami. Oh, yeah. Now they talking about they want my guy Big Money back. I'm closing the door to those conversations. Anybody asking me about big money, I'm ignoring those conversations. Y'all put me through too much last year with the big money talk. Knicks at home hosting the Timberwolves tonight, 27-15 at the Garden. What do you guys think about tonight's game? What are some of your keys to tonight's game? What do you guys think, man? Some of my keys, I'm just focusing my camera here. Getting in HD. We got to see me live and live in color and vividly. Some of my keys in this one. Number one, the energy. Minnesota has been complaining, or at least Ant-Man, one of the common knocks on this team is that they're jumping out the gate slow. We saw it in the Knicks' first matchup against Minnesota in Minnesota. Same thing in their last loss to Golden State. They're calling each other out for starting games off slow. Which Minnesota team is going to show up tonight at Madison Square Garden? Are they going to come out guns blazing, high energy? Julius returning to the Garden. They're going to want to get the win for him and shake out of this kind of funk that they're in. Knicks are going to have to match that intensity if Minnesota comes out with a heart. Starting there. Boards. Minnesota also woeful on the boards right now. Rudy Gobert coming into this season. Lows in terms of rebounds per game. And so I think the Knicks can get the rebounding advantage, especially if Cat plays. But if not, between Hart, Precious, hey, the simulation at 5 offensive rebounds on the Philly game, win the battle of the boards, 100%. Win the battle of the boards. Obviously, shot making is going to be a priority for the Knicks. In the first matchup, they shot 50% from the field, around 40 from 3. If they can do that again tonight, there's always a good chance where the Knicks are shooting efficient from the field. Their offense is carrying them. Their identity lies on the offensive side. Nostalgic Nick, I like that. Mikal Bridges, another one who was hot in that game to start the game in Minnesota. Played well, 27 points against Philly. If Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play tonight, I'm going with the big Mikal Bridges game tonight as well. Win the fourth quarter. Win the fourth quarter. The Knicks have not been a good fourth quarter team this year. Their fourth quarter net rating, I believe they're like 25th or low 20s in terms of fourth quarter net rating. Hey, we can blame the minutes, whatever we want to blame it on. They just have not been good. And Minnesota, conversely, I believe they're 9th in the league in fourth quarter scoring. Whether that's them having to come back into games like they did in their loss to Golden State, you got to watch that. Knicks need to win the fourth quarter and win this thing convincingly. Because this is a Minnesota team that's still trying to figure themselves out, still trying to find chemistry. Knicks need to handle business tonight. Go out there and handle your handles. Must win the fourth quarter. And despite the fact that Minnesota's defense is good, and you got to respect them, with McDaniels and Gobert, Naz Reid, you got to respect them. They will turn the ball over. They will turn the ball over. They're in the bottom quadrant of the league in turnovers. Knicks need to show their defense tonight. Wingstop, Precious, Deuce. Rip these guys' hearts out and get off to the races so you can get your transition buckets. Energy, fourth quarter, battle of the boards, shot efficiency, turnovers. It's my 5 keys for tonight. And as we mentioned, Mikal Bridges as a key for this one. What do you guys think, man? I'll open up the Discord, take 1 or 2 calls, then I got to get out of here, get ready for tonight's matchup. How you guys feeling in the chat, man? Friday night Knicks. How we feeling, man? We got over 800 people watching between YouTube, Instagram, Bleacher Report. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Bleacher Report from here, I'm going to drop off. I'll see you guys on Monday on the Bleacher Report side, man. Appreciate everybody on the Bleacher Report side for rocking with us. And for everybody else, stick around, man. We'll chat it up and chill for a little bit. So Bleacher Report, thank you. See you guys on Monday. Okay. And right on time. Here he is, man. You know, this guy's right on time, man. Me and the Stratocaster, because we were talking, because, you know, we got the fantasy draft coming up on Underdog. So I just sent him the link to cam up and come through. He's been talking a lot of junk, man, that he's going to win on tonight's fantasy draft. So once the Stratocaster cams up, then we will do our draft and all of that. Let me salute my franchise channel members on the chats. Who else we got in here? Randy, what's good? Get them likes up, as he says. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, Louis 18. Yeah, I think we're going to get the dub tonight. And like I said, match the energy, match the intensity. You got Randle struggling last 10 games, as I said, 17 points per game, 23% from 3. Yeah. The one in the chat says, CP, didn't know you had Randle family beef. Yeah, no, you know, it wasn't really a beef. You know, I don't like to use that word, man. I'm old, man. I'm 40 years old. I got, you know, gray hairs coming out the wazoo. You know, I'm not into that, you know, beef thing. His wife took umbrage with our show format, and we just had to explain. It was just an educational tutorial about the number one show for the fans by the fans. That's all it was. But for those of you that are interested, it's on the channel. You know, we don't take our content down. It is on the channel, and you guys can find it. I think it's under, like, you know, Randall Wife, KFTV, Clash, whatever it is. And it was a good video. I thought we handled it quite well. You know what I'm saying? Now, what do you think, man? You watched that. You were there.
I mean, that was quite the attack for no reason. It's just funny how she claimed you as the ringmaster, or ringleader, I should say, for stirring the pot or whatnot, and that is just far from the truth. I love how she claimed that. Everyone came to your defense, and then she deleted it because she knew she was out of pocket for doing that. But hey,
right? I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot it. I had moved on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you moved on. You know, you were the bigger person. She had to delete it, and hey. You know, now she's going to potentially be going from, she went from New York, you know, complaining that she didn't like the small apartment lifestyle, went to a big home, I guess, out in Minnesota. Now, hey, you might be on the move again to either going to South Beach or, hey, maybe you're going to Detroit.
That's correct. And you know what, man? I told her, like I tell everybody else, you know the line, man. What's the line? I'm just a conductor, man. I'm just a conductor, man. I'm just a conductor. You know, that's it, man. You know,
the cop-out way of saying, "Oh no, it wasn't me."
I just realized I didn't have the and shout out.
Is that what you tell the Knicks chick when you make a decision? And you're like, "Oh, hey, I'm just the conductor."
You know,
you recommended this restaurant. I'm just the conductor.
I'm just the conductor here, man. I just realized I had the wrong. Shout out to Gamba. He's probably yelling at me right now. I had the wrong lower third title up on the show. I still had Sixers post game, so. You know, a little production error on my part. But it's all good, man. Everybody knows what today's show was about. So it's all good. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. I fixed it up there. Fixed it up. There we go. There we go. All right, man. How you feeling, man? Happy Friday, bro.
Happy Friday. I literally just walked through the door. So
yeah.
Literally walked through the door, put my bag down. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready for this Knicks game. Look, they gave him they whooped him in game 1 out in Minnesota. I'm looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about it all in Game of the Week preview. So after this show, go tap into that. I think the big thing, man, is can the Knicks replicate their 3-point shooting, because the Timberwolves are a top team, as I discussed last night, in stopping 3-point shooters. But, you know, it's difficult when you have 5 guys that can shoot the 3. And who are you going to choose to defend, right? We all know how Julius is on defense. You don't Rudy Gobert is not a guy who guards the perimeter well either. So there's going to be opportunities. Connolly's getting up there in age, so he's not as spry as he once was. He's not part of that. He's not that same grit and grind Grizzlies Connolly that we're used to seeing. So there's a lot of change on this team, man. There's only one Ant-Man. There's only one McDaniels in the starting lineup, so I expect the Knicks to be able to succeed from downtown. And then it's going to be about getting your spots in the paint, man. The Knicks are good at that. They won that battle. They won points in the paint. They won second chance opportunities. So I'm looking for them to, you know, replicate the same thing. I mean, the question is Karl Anthony Towns playing tonight? He's a big factor in why they were able to demolish the Wolves last time. But it should be a good one, man. And look, I know I heard you talking about it. I was listening to you on the way home, so I knew what the topics were.
Yeah. And I eloquently explained that you're blocked by the Randles, so.
I am very much so blocked by the Randles. So, you
Savage.
know, everyone. What's hilarious is that everyone thought that at the beginning of the season, I'm like, oh, he's such a Randle guy. I'm like, I'm not a Randle guy.
Yeah.
I give you my analysis. I'm going to be right. I'm going to be wrong.
Yeah.
All right. There's still things to work at. We still got to see this team go through the postseason.
There you go.
But everyone wants to go jump on their on their wagons and be like, we were right. Takes time, people. Takes time.
Takes time.
But hey, this team playing well. You still want to see them beat a top 5 team in the NBA, right? And that's all we're looking for. And for tonight, I'm looking for them to get a win against the Minnesota Timberwolves in their home court. There should be an ovation for Julius for what he did for this team, okay?
Yep.
And this is where I want to say this. This is where I think, because I know Randle he's a divisive topic amongst Knicks Nation. Same thing with the Timberwolves. But there should be an understanding that we should honor this man for what he did. You don't get Karl Anthony Towns without Julius Randle being good for who he was in New York, okay? Because you're not taking a scrub in that deal, all right? It's not like, oh, we're going to take a scrub and then Dante and everything's okay just because Julius has the contract. That's not how that worked.
Yeah.
Julius had to put up the numbers. He had to be an all-NBA player. He had to be a 3-time All-Star, okay? That is what he had to do in order for this trade to even work, to even be a concept. Because for the Timberwolves, they're like, hey, we'll see if it works out with Randle. If not, we'll get him out of here because we want a solid books for being a small market team.
Yeah.
So he will get the ovation. I don't know why there's a whole conversation on whether or not he would. The thumbs down thing is like a small blip and relatively into what he did for this team, but he will get the ovation. All right, and he should. But let's also give this man this respect. You don't get Karl Anthony Towns, like I said, without Julius playing the way that he does. You don't get Karl Anthony Towns without Dante playing the way that he did, okay?
It's a good point.
So just let's put that in perspective.
Good points by you, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up on Free Boy CP and Alex on the 1s and 2s. All right, Al, you want to talk about getting wins and whatnot? I dropped you the link for the fantasy draft, bro. I dropped you the link for the fantasy draft, man.
You're just getting angry, man. You're getting aggy over there because I keep calling you out on these games.
Wait. Oh, no, wait. Hang on. Don't click on that one. For some reason, for some reason I did a 3-person fantasy draft. I'm bugging out. Okay, I'm bugging out. Here we go. Here's the 2-person. All right. I jumped the gun. I was a little overzealous. I pulled the old foot trick on you, Al. Okay, here's the link for tonight's fantasy draft. And the fantasy draft is brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. Use our code KFTV for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. Okay, so tonight, me and Alex, we're going to do our picks as well, but we're about to square off in a fantasy draft right now. And for those of you that are interested in getting in, hey, man, just let us know and you can do it. Okay, what do you know? The draft is about to start, and I got the first pick.
Again.
I'm the host, man. How else are we going to do this? We got to have some sort of, democracy here.
Nasty work.
Yeah, it just works that way. We should have got JD in here. I didn't know if JD was free tonight.
Well, he's apparently he's chatting in the comment.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's in the chat right now saying that we left him out of these things because he kept taking our money.
Oh, no, he never beat me in fantasy draft. All right, now, next time we'll get JD in here. No problem. Okay.
Last time I remember, sir, I was on a 3-game winning streak with you in this said draft. But hey.
Yeah. All right, so the draft is starting up in 9 seconds. And I'll save you the drama here, Al, because I'm going with Wemby.
Wow. Shocker.
Wemby. Yeah, I'm going with Wemby, man.
But you know who I'm going to go with?
Who?
SGA. That's who I'm going with.
That's a good pick. The MVP, man. Had an outstanding game last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you got back-to-back picks on this one.
Yes, sir. Now, this is a tough spot because it's either, where am I going with this one?
Yeah,
you know what?
I'm
going with Giannis Antetokounmpo as the other.
Good
that's
move.
The other pick.
Good move. People in chat, should I go Jokic at Miami or Anthony Davis? Well, they playing the Nets again? Back-to-back? Didn't they just beat the Nets? No, Anthony Davis.
Oh, yeah, they're playing Brooklyn again, yeah.
No, I'm bugging. I'll go with the Joker, man. I'll go with the Joker tonight.
Well, you got another pick afterwards, so I'm assuming that you're going to take the other guy,
He's questionable for Friday. They're going to give me an M anyway. I ran out of time. So you know what? I'll take both, man. Thank you. 80 and the Joker. 80's probable for Friday. Yeah. That's a lot of big man depth right there. I got to go guard heavy after this.
Do I want to pull the U and go with a questionable guy and potentially ruin my chances? And it looks like you're frozen on the screen at this point.
I'm totally frozen. What happened?
I don't know, but I'm going to go with Cat, man. I'm going to take Cat because I'm going to need the points and the rebounds. And he's going to do it again.
I see what happened here. Hang on.
No, leave it there. We all like this question,
I totally see what happened. It's the Zoom glitch. I activated that Zoom glitch again. Hang on. All right, hang tight. All right, I'm up.
No, I went back to back.
That was you. Okay.
I went back to back, man.
Right.
I took Cat and I took LaMelo. That's where I went.
Cat and LaMelo? Okay. I'm going to go with I'll go with Tatum. Tatum taking on the Orlando Magic. And I'll go with LeBron James taking on the Brooklyn Nets. LeBron James. Here we go. Yeah, I activated this. My fault, bro. I kind of froze everything up here. Hang on. I activated this. Okay, I'm back up now. There's a little glitcheroo here. Who are you picking?
I'm going double Knicks tonight. I'm going to take our guy, JB. Captain Clutch.
Yeah, nobody took a Knick tonight? Okay.
I took Cat, I said. I took Cat.
Oh, you did? All right. Is he playing? Is Cat confirmed tonight or no?
I'm pulling a U. I'm going to take, the gamble. Hopefully they don't trade him out for somebody weak. But the last guy I'm going to take here will be my guy, J-Dub, taking Jalen Williams from KC.
You know what, man? You just made a mistake. You know why, man? Because I'm going with the J, but his name is Mr. Triple Double, Josh Hart.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Because if Cat don't play tonight, you better believe he'll be right there for it again. I'm going with Josh Hart. Going with Josh Hart.
See, I'm pretty good at calling Josh Hart triple doubles. I don't think tonight's that night, man. But I'll let you do you.
Okay.
I'll let you do you.
Okay. All right, I finally got my camera stabilized here. Okay. Yeah, I know. I completely, I didn't pick Ant-Man. I rocked my Homer shades for this tonight. Okay, so I'm projected for 301.90 points with Wemby, Jokic, 80, Tatum, Bron, and Josh Hart. This looks like an all-star team tonight. And you are projected with 291.20 with SGA, Giannis, Cat, LaMelo. You got a good squad, man. Jalen Brunson and Jalen Williams. There we go, man. All right, good luck to you, man.
Good luck to you.
Dap me up, man. Dap me up.
There we go.
All right, no doubt. Good luck to you, man. Good luck to you. Okay. All right, so So yeah, that's the fantasy draft, man. Use our code KFTV for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. Now, speaking of the picks, the way the picks game works is pretty simple. You pick 2 to 8 players, and you predict whether or not that player is going to go higher or lower on a given stat projection that's Underdog has for a given night. Now, as we know, Al, I went 4 for 4 in my picks on Wednesday. 4 for 4. Put $20 up, got pretty much $100. So here's where I'm going to go tonight. I just mentioned, man, Julius Randle. It's been a struggle for Julius. Last 10, 17 points per game, 23% from downtown. Ooh. I'm going to go back to it tonight. I'm going lower than 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'm going lower, man. Sorry, Julius, man. Respect to you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your service. Call back anytime, but I'm going lower. Okay? Pause. Now, Mr. Triple-Double, as I mentioned, 14 rebounds in the Knicks win over the Philadelphia 76ers. I mentioned the Minnesota Timberwolves' lackluster ability to rebound. And so with that, I think 10.5 for Josh Hart tonight is a low number, Al. You know, I think they insulted him a little bit. And you're getting a higher multiplier on your money if you pick the higher. So I'm going to go higher with Josh Hart on the rebounds. Now, a couple other ones I had liked. I went with Hart. I went with Julius. I'm going to go Ant-Man. You know, over the last 2 weeks, the Knicks have been giving up on average between 4 to 5 3-pointers made to opposing shooting guards. Ant-Man coming in at 40% from 3. And I'm looking for his 3-point number. They don't have it. Oh, they do. They've got it at 3.5. They got it at 3.5. You know what? I'm going to I think I can put the slider down to 2.5. So you have sliders on Underdog now. So I'm going to go with, I think he's going to get 3 3-pointers made, but it's a little bit lower of a multiplier on Underdog, but that's okay. I'll go a little conservative. I have no problem with that. So I'll go a little conservative. You get 0.75x your money if it hits. So I'm going to go with Ant-Man, 2.5 3-pointers made, and I'm going to go with that. Will Latimer says Josh Hart had 17 boards. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, he had 17 boards in that game against Philly. And then the other one I like, you know what? I can't stand the Miami Heat, Al. But I like this number of 24.5 for Tyler Hero against the Denver Nuggets at home. Hero on a hot streak right now. Last 3 games, he scored 30 points. And with the Butler news, hey, this is his team right now. And so I'm going with Hero, a.k.a. G.I. Jane, with higher than 24.5 points. So, yeah, I'm back on the higher train. And these are my picks, man. $20. And I'll go back to the flex. I keep it conservative, man. Flex. And because you can go standard, so for my $20, I can get 160. Or you can go flex, where you can get 3 right, you'll get some money. You get 4 right, you get 95.60. So I'll go flex there. And that's it, man. Julius Randle, lower than 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Josh Hart, higher than 10.5 rebounds. Anthony Edwards, higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. And Tyler Hero, higher than 24.5 points. There it is, Al. Did you make a ticket yet or no?
Not yet. I'm going to do one after the show.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, man. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, great show. I got to get ready to hit the watch party. You know what it is, man. 16 West 36th Street, Clinton Hall. Let me make sure. I got to make sure we didn't sell out of tickets here. It's free to get in. I just got to make sure that we've got enough tickets here for the family out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right, there we go, man. Up next, CK2K on the Underdog play-by-play show at 7:30. And then play-by-play, man. Alex and JD on the 1s and 2s. So, Al, go ahead and rest up, man. I'll catch up with you guys later on, man.
Yeah, man. We'll see you for post-game. We'll know you'll meander your way through the city to get there, to give us your takes.
Yeah,
but it'll be me and JD starting everything off.
Do it just to get there. And we're going to make sure that, at the watch party, I already let security know if you see Robert Randolph, he's not allowed in. So, Sergeant Sources, if you are listening, you will not be allowed into the watch party. All right, man? So,
or if you do allow him in, CP, here's the thing. if he gets James Dolan seats when he goes to the games, you got to put him all the way in the upper deck.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. But shout out to Sergeant Sources, man. Salute, man. All right, Al. I'll holler at you guys, man. Great show.
Good stuff as always, my guy.
Yes, sir.